So now, I think that's all the announcements. Don't have to mention anything about refreshments or restrooms. Those are up to you. I will now introduce you to our illustrious and beloved MC, Pat Peterson, and she's going to introduce the program. Thank you very much, Pat, and enjoy.
Well, thank you. It's wonderful to be with all of you. Ideally, we could be face-to-face next to each other in person, but this is definitely the next best thing. Earth Day is a cause for celebration, and we have tonight two talented contributors to this program who bring the best of story and song and weave them together in such a way that, well, it's sort of like opening a box of Whitman's chocolates and you get a little bit of everything. Now, Margaret Reed MacDonald was a long-time children's librarian and told for years and years. And you know, I'm pretty sure when she started out, she used picture books and folktale books that she got out of the library and shared those with her listeners. And then Margaret Reed MacDonald retired, and she sort of took off around the world and back again. And when she traveled, she did not bring back magnets to put on her icebox in the kitchen. She brought back stories, and those stories were fashioned into books, picture books, and collections, and shared with all of us. Margaret Reed MacDonald's strong contribution to storytellers everywhere is her ability to take a spoken story and put it in a written format so that those of us who want to tell the story have it right in front of us. It's a real gift. And along with her stories this evening, we have Tom Rawson. Now, Tom was a teacher. He grew up a child of the 60s and loved folk music. So, you know, he has lots of stories he could share with us and songs. And, you know, those of us who were around then know that a lot of those folk songs are stories all by themselves, but combined with music, it makes a wonderful presentation. Now, Tom is going to, due to the wonders of technology, which I know nothing about, but he will explain, put lyrics to some of the songs up in the chat so you can sing along with him. And you can do it in the privacy of your home. None of us will hear it. So I encourage you to sing out loud and proud as we celebrate Earth Day along with all of you. And now to start us off, Tom Rawson, a man with a banjo, and he's not afraid to use it.
Thank you so much. Oh, thank you, friends. All right. Well, thank you, Pat, for that great introduction. And I appreciate that you got my tagline correct. See, some people read the thing on my website that says, I have a banjo, I'm not afraid to use it. And they introduce me and they say, here's Tom Rawson, he has a banjo and he knows how to use it. I never claimed that. I just said I'm not afraid to. So I'm going to put in some song lyrics here for a song called The Little Blue Top that was written by Tony Hughes. And there's the chorus. And as Pat said, we need to stay muted, but Sing out and I'll feel it up here on Orcas Island. Okay, friends, here we go. Round and round goes the little blue top, whirling and turning with never a stop. Dappled in white and dappled in brown, and the little blue top keeps on turning around. There's wild raging oceans and great mountain chains, green peaceful valleys and wide grassy plains, families of life that each setting contains, tigers and spiders and dolphins and cranes. Round and round goes the little blue top, whirling and turning with never a stop. Dappled in white and dappled in brown, and the little blue top keeps on turning around. There's black folks and white folks and yellow folks too, red folks and brown folks to name just a few. Folks green with envy and folks who are blue, some past a century and babies just new. Round and round goes the little blue top, whirling and turning with never a stop. Dappled in white and dappled in brown, and the little blue top keeps on turning around. Oh, sometimes there's war as the blue top spins round, when much more peaceful ways cannot be found. It's scary and most kids hope it will stop, so peace can return to the little blue top. Round and round goes the little blue top, whirling and turning with never a stop. Dappled in white and dappled in brown, and the little blue top keeps on turning around. You know, sometimes we're greedy, sometimes we don't care. We're spoiling the water and fouling the air. It's me and it's you, friend, and we've all got to stop. Let's show some respect for the little blue top. Round and round goes the little blue top, whirling and turning with never a stop. Dappled in white and dappled in brown, and the little blue top keeps on turning around. Round and round goes the little blue top, whirling and turning with never a stop. Dappled in white and dappled in brown, and the little blue top keeps on turning around. Thank you all. That was great singing. I could feel your singing. Oh, it was wonderful. Anyway, I'm going to turn it over to Margaret now, and I just want to say that I feel so privileged to be sharing the bill with Margaret. In 1986, when I was just starting my teaching career, I took a class through Western Washington University for song repertoire for teachers. But it was being combined with a storyteller teacher who was Margaret. And so it wasn't just songs, it was also stories. And because I was taking the class for credit, I had to do the homework. And the homework was to tell the stories that Margaret was teaching us. And I found out that I loved it and I had a knack for it. So I owe it to Margaret for turning me into a storyteller. So take it away, Margaret.
I love hearing that. That's so great. Success. We got a new storyteller, and look what we got. That's wonderful. Well, my first story is a story from the island of Haiti, and it's a story called Papa God's Well. Now, there came a time in Haiti when there was no water. The streams dried up and the rivers dried up, lakes dried up, the ponds dried up. The animals were looking just pitiful. They were just so thirsty. They looked so bad. And one day, Papa God happened to look down and saw them. And he said, "Oh, my laws, what is wrong with my animals? They just look miserable." So he hurried down and said, animals, what's wrong with you all? You look terrible." They said, "Oh, Papa God, there's no water at all. The rivers dried up, the streams dried up, the lakes dried up, the ponds dried up. We haven't got a thing to drink." Papa God said, "Goodness gracious me, you should have told me earlier. Just call me anytime you have trouble, animals. I'll make you a well. And Papa God made a deep, deep well. And all the animals had a nice long drink of cool, clear water. And then Papa God said, now I'm going to fix this well so it's a real pretty place for you to come to every day. And he planted mango trees all around the well, a whole mango grove all around the well. And he said, now this is a beautiful well and it's for all of you to share, but I need somebody to guard the well because it might get mud knocked into it or trash thrown in. Who would like to guard the well? And Lizard said, oh, I'd be the guard. I'm a good guard. I like to be in charge and I like water too. I'll be your guard. Papa God said, good, okay, you can volunteer. Lizard, go down and sit by the well and you're in charge now. And all the animals went home to their beds and that was fine. And the next morning, Lizard heard somebody coming through Papa God's mango grove. Lizard said, hey, who's that coming through Papa God's mango grove? It was Cow. Cow said, it's me, Cow. I'm coming to get a drink of water this morning. Lizard said, well, for goodness sakes, get out of here. You got a long tail with mud on the end. You can't come have a drink here. Get out. Cow said, but Papa God said we could. I'm in charge of the well. Papa God put me in charge. You can't have a drink. Now get out of here. And Cow went away, so thirsty. And after a while, here come Horse. Lizard, hey, who's that walking through Papa God's mango grove? It's me, Horse. I'm coming to get a drink this morning. Well, you can't come in here. You got those sharp hooves. You'd be knocking mud in the well for sure. You get out of here. But Papa God said we could. I'm in charge. Papa God put me in charge. You can't come. Get out of here. And after a while, along come Dog. Hey, who's that walking through Papa God's mango grove? It's me, Dog. I'm coming to get a drink of water this morning. You got fleas, Dog. You get out of here. Your fleas might jump in the water and spoil things. Get out of here. But Papa God said we could all drink from the well. Well, he put me in charge, and I said, no, now get out. And Dog went away thirsty. A few days passed, and Papa God looked down on earth, and he saw all the animals, and they looked more miserable than ever. Papa God came rushing down. Animals, what is wrong with you all? I gave you a nice deep well. Is the water no good, or what's wrong? They said, well, Lizard's in charge of the well. You put him in charge, and he won't let us drink. Oh, Papa God was not happy. He went stomping through that mango grove. Lizard said, hey, who's that walking through Papa God's mango grove? It's me, said Papa God. Oh, well, I'm in charge. Papa God put me in charge, and whoever you are, you can't have water. Go away. It's Papa God. That's who it is, said Papa God. And the well is to be shared, not just guarded. You are fired, Lizard. I'll get a new guardian for this well. Come on, animals. Come on, get a drink. The animals all came in and had a nice long drink of cool, clear water. Papa God said, now I need someone to guard the well who knows how to share. You can guard, but you also have to share. Frog spoke up. I know how to share, Papa God. And I know how to guard. And I like water too. I could guard your well. Very good, said Papa God. You can be the guard of the well. And Papa God put Frog right down in the bottom of the deep, deep well. He's there to this day. And if you go up to any well and look in and listen, you'll see Frog down there and you'll hear him hollering, Papa God's well, Papa God's well, Papa God's well. He knows how to share, and we need to know how to share too. Now, in Haiti, they have a saying, the well may belong to you, but the water belongs to God.
Thank you, Margaret. All right. Here's a song that was written by Becky Burnson, and she wrote it specifically for the next generation. The chorus, lyrics of the chorus are in the chat. It goes like this. Save a piece of the world for me. Save me a meadow and save me a tree. Save me a bird and a fish in the stream. Don't let them fade into Grandma's old dreams. My grandma has pictures of when she was young, of horses in meadows all dappled in sun. I said to my grandma, let's go there and play. She sighed and said sadly, it's all gone away. Away, oh grandma, now what can you mean? Those pictures look real, no they don't look like dreams. But dreams and pictures are all that remain. The parking lot's there now and everything's changed. Save a piece of the world for me. Save me a meadow and save me a tree. Save me a bird and a fish in the stream. Don't let them fade into Grandma's old dreams. Oh, I'd like to go for a walk in the woods, to skip through the flowers and sing with the birds. But the forests around here have all been cut down to make way for shopping malls, freeways, and towns. Oh, I'd like to walk by the wide river shore, skip stones on the water, catch fishes galore. But the river's all yellow and the fish have all died. There's nothing to do but to stay here inside. Save a piece of the world for me. Save me a meadow and save me a tree. Save me a bird and a fish in the stream. Don't let them fade into Grandma's old dream. I've heard of broad grasslands and jungles and more, with lions and tigers that rumble and roar. But the newspaper says that they're almost all gone. I sure get the feeling that something's gone wrong. Oh, sometimes we think that we don't have enough. We think we need money to buy lots more stuff. But before we have made this whole planet a mess, let's think of the kids and the world that we've left. Save a piece of the world for me. Save me a meadow and save me a tree. Save me a bird and a fish in the stream. Don't let them fade into Grandma's old dream. Don't let them fade into Grandma's old dream. Thank you. Back to Margaret.
That's beautiful. I love that. Never heard that before. It's a great song. And that really ties into my next story. My next story is called Gluskabe and Grandmother Woodchuck. It's an Abenaki story. Gluskabe lived with his grandmother Woodchuck, and she taught him everything that you need to know to live. How to fish, how to hunt. One day, Gluskabe said, Grandmother Woodchuck, I would like to hunt deer. Could you teach me how to make a bow and arrow? Grandmother Woodchuck said, of course I can, Gluskabe, and she taught him how to make a bow and arrow. He went to the forest and he got a deer, and they had venison to eat after that. One time, Gluskabe said to Grandmother Woodchuck, I'd like to go out on the lake and get ducks. Could you teach me how to make a canoe? She said, of course I can, Gluskabe, and she taught him how to make a canoe out of birch bark and make a paddle, and he went on the lake and he came back with ducks, and they had duck to eat. But there came a time when there was a storm, and it was too stormy to go on the lake and too windy to go in the forest. And Gluskabe lay on his bed in the house, and he complained. And then he had an idea, and he began to sing a little song. I wish I had a game bag made of hair. I wish I had a game bag made of hair. I wish I had a game bag made of hair, so I could catch the beasts more easily. Grandmother Woodchuck said, I could make you a game bag, Gluskabe. And she took a deer skin and took the hair off, and she wove it and made a little game bag to hold game and to catch game in. She said, here you are, Gluskabe, and she tossed it to him. He lay on his bunk and looked at it. I wish I had a game bag made of hair. I wish I had a game bag made of hair. I wish I had a game bag made of hair so I could catch the beast more easily. A stronger game bag. Oh, all right, said Grandmother Woodchuck, and she took the hide of a moose and took the hair off, and she wove and she wove and she wove a little game bag. Here you are, Gluskabe. No. I wish I had a game bag made of hair. I wish I had a game bag made of hair. I wish I had a game bag made of hair, so I could catch the beasts more easily. A really strong game bag. Well, all right, said Grandmother Woodchuck. And she took some hair off her own tummy, and she wove it, and she made a game bag. And she tossed it to him. Here you are, Gluskabe. Oh, okay. Thank you, Grandmother Woodchuck. So the next day, when the weather calmed down, he took the game bag out and he went to the forest and he opened the game bag really wide and he called, "Animals, all you animals out in the forest, the world is about to end. Come quick, run in my game bag and you will be saved." And all the animals of the forest thought he was telling the truth. They said, "Oh my goodness, the world's going to end. Quick, quick, quick." And they ran into his game bag and he tied it up and he lugged it home. "Grandmother Woodchuck, come take a look and see what I've got here." And she came and saw, "Gluskabe, what have you done? You can't take all the animals like that. That's terrible, because there won't be animals for the future, for other people, for our descendants to eat. You must think of the future. The animals have to go back in the forest so they can have babies and make more and more animals for our future descendants. Think of the future, Gluskabe." I didn't think about that, Grandmother. "All right. Here, animals, I made a mistake. The world's not coming to an end after all. Go back in the forest." And they ran back in the forest. So everything was fine for a while. And then Gluskabe noticed that Grandmother Woodchuck had trouble catching fish for their dinner. And he had an idea. He went down and he strengthened the fish trap, and then he went to the place where the river opened into the ocean, and he called, "Fish in the sea, all you fish in the sea, the world is going to end any minute now. Swim up our river and you will be safe. Swim right here and you will be safe." And all the fish believed him. Oh, the world's going to an end. And they swam up the river and were caught in the fish trap. "Grandmother Woodchuck, come see what I've got now. I have all the fish in the sea. You don't have to go worrying about getting fish anymore for our supper." Grandmother Woodchuck came hurrying down. "Oh, Gluskabe, what have you done now?" No, the fish have to go back in the sea so they can have babies for our descendants and their descendants. You have to think of the future, Gluskabe." "I didn't think of the future." "Okay. Made a mistake. The world's not coming to an end after all. You can go back." And the fish all swam back into the sea. Well, after that, Gluskabe was somewhat wiser, but he still had Grandmother Woodchuck to teach him how to behave. And if you have a Grandmother Woodchuck in your family and she gives you advice, listen to it too, because grandmothers and grandfathers have all the wisdom to teach us how to be, says a grandmother. Your turn, Tom.
Thank you, Margaret. All right. Well, I got a message. I think I'm one song behind on the lyrics. Apologies for that. Maybe I didn't push the enter button. Let me see if I push the enter button now, if the last song will come through. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Well, sorry about that. But the next song only has 2 lines you need to remember. So I'm not going to put them there. I'm just going to tell you. One is you'll hear me say, "What'll I do?" And you get to repeat that and echo it, "What'll I do?" And then the last line of every verse is, "And I sing every day of my life." And I sing every day of my life. And this is a great song. There's a very well-known Yiddish folktale, which goes by several different versions and names, as most of them do. Some people know it as Joseph's Overcoat. Some people know it as Something from Nothing. It's one of my favorite stories to tell, but tonight I'm not going to tell it. I'm going to sing you the song version. Paul Kaplan took the idea from the story and turned it into a song, and I think this is a song that has great lessons for Earth Day. So, here we go. I had an old coat and the coat got torn. What'll I do? What'll I do? I had an old coat and the coat got torn. What'll I do? What'll I do? I had an old coat and the coat got torn. So I cut it down and a jacket was born. And I sing every day of my life. Soon those threads were wearing thin. What'll I do? Soon those threads were wearing thin. What'll I do? Well, soon those threads were wearing thin. So I called it a shirt and I tucked it in. And I sing every day of my life. The arms wore out in the east and west. What'll I do? The arms wore out in the east and west. What'll I do? The arms wore out in the east and west. So I pulled them off till I had a vest. And I sing every day of my life. The vest got stained with cherry pie. What'll I do? The vest got stained with cherry pie. What'll I do? The vest got stained with cherry pie. So I cut and I sewed till I had a tie. And I sing every day of my life. Well, soon that tie was looking lean. What'll I do? Soon that tie was looking lean. What'll I do? Soon that tie was looking lean. But it made a fine patch for my old blue jeans. And I sing every day of my life. And when that patch was next to nothing, what'll I do? When that patch was next to nothing, what'll I do? And when that patch was next to nothing, I rolled it up into a button. And I sing every day of my life. And when that button was almost gone, what'll I do? When that button was almost gone, what'll I do? And when that button was almost gone, with what was left I made this song, which I sing every day of my life. Thank you. Thank you, friends. Back to Margaret.
What fun, what fun. Well, I have a story that you may have heard me tell before. It's one of my favorites. It's from Brazil, from the Amazon basin, and it's a story of the curupira. The curupira. The curupira is a creature that is believed to live in the Amazon basin, and stories are told all the way through the Amazon, all the way down into northern Argentina. The story is told in various forms. Lots of stories about the curupira. I have to tell you about what he's like. He's about as big as a 5th grade boy, not too tall. He has fur all over his body. He has pointy little ears like Dr. Spock. And he smokes a chunky pipe. He rides a wild boar through the forest. He is the keeper of the animals and the father of the forest. And his job is to look after everything in the rainforest. So if he hears anybody chopping a tree or shooting an animal, he jumps on his wild boar and goes running through the forest to chase them off. And if he catches them, he puts his little arms around them and he squeezes. And he's small, but he's very strong. And he squeezes and he squeezes and he squeezes till their bones turn to jelly. Then he cuts a little hole in the skull and sucks out all the good and blows up the skin and hangs it in a tree for someone to find as they go past. And no, you shouldn't mess with the curupira and his rainforest. So here's the story. There was a hunter named Carlos. He was not a very good hunter. He'd go in the forest with his gun. He'd aim at a deer. Bam, 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 bam. Oh, he never could hit. So he never had meat to eat. And then he heard about the Curupira, and he heard stories about the Curupira. And he realized that the Curupira was said to help you out if he liked you. He would let you get enough game to feed your family, or enough fish, or enough trees, or whatever. If he liked you, he would. Now, he knew the Curupira smoked a little chunky pipe, and he liked sweet things. So Carlos took some honey and some tobacco, went to the forest, found a clearing, and he put it down on a log in the clearing, honey and tobacco, and he went away. He waited for about an hour or so, and then he went back and checked, and the honey was gone, the tobacco was gone. He said, aha, I think the Curupira accepted my gift. Maybe he'll let me get some game now. He got his gun ready, and he went, and there was a deer. Bam! First shot, he got the deer. Okay. After that, whenever he needed meat to eat, he took some honey and some tobacco into the forest, left it for the Curupira, waited a while, it was gone, he could hunt. And so for a whole year, he never missed once when he aimed at a deer or a peccary pig. And after 1 year, he thought, well, maybe I don't have to take 2 gifts for the Curupira. Maybe 1 would be enough. And so he just took the honey, no tobacco. And still he had good luck. Another year passed. And he thought, 2 years, I haven't once missed when I aimed at an animal. I'm a good shot now. I don't need help from the Curupira. So he didn't bring any gifts to the forest. And still he had good luck. But then he heard there was a man coming down the river who was buying skins of wild animals and feathers of beautifully colored birds and paying a lot of money for it. I can get rich. I can get rich. He went to the forest and he began to kill everything he saw. Bam, 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 6 deer, just like that. Bam, 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 6 peccary pigs. Bam, 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 18 beautifully colored birds. Bam. He even killed jaguar. He drug all the animals and birds into a clearing. He was going to skin them, take the feathers, take the skins, pack them out and sell them for a lot of money and leave the meat to rot. Carlos had just taken out his knife to skin the first deer when he heard a rustling in the bushes. He looked up, and out of the bushes marched a little chicken. The chicken didn't have any feathers at all. It was a totally naked chicken. The chicken marched out and looked crossly at him and shook its head. And from the forest, a big voice boomed out. Hey, Esteban, did you find my animals? And the chicken called, yeah, boss. They're all here, Curupira. What'll I do with them? And the voice said, bring them to me, that's what. And the little chicken began to march down the line of animals and peck on them. Peck, 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 peck. Come on, dear. Wake up. Curupira wants you. And the deer came to life and were ready to go. Peck, 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 peck. Come on, Curupiras. Come on, peccary pigs. Curupira wants you. And the peccary pigs snorted and stomped and were ready to go. Peck, 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 peck. Come on, birds. Peck, peck, peck. Come on, birds. Peck, 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 peck. Come on, birds. And the birds sort of ruffled their feathers and were ready to go. Peck, peck, peck. Come on, jaguar. Curupira wants you. And the jaguar stretched and came to life. The little chicken lined them all up in a straight line and began to march them back into the forest. But before he left the forest, he looked back at Carlos, the hunter. Hey, boss, what'll I do with the man? Leave him for now, said the Curupira. We'll come get him a little later. And they disappeared into the forest. Carlos dropped his knife. He dropped his gun. He left the clearing. He left the forest. He left the territory. He never came back. But he left behind the story to warn everyone what happens if you take too much game and anger the Curupira. Your turn, Tom.
Thank you. All right. I'm going to try again with some song lyrics here. Did you get those? Start with one tree. Okay, wonderful. Start with one tree, you'll plant many. That's the way it goes. Start with one tree, you'll plant many. That's how forests grow. Start with one tree, you'll plant many all over the world. When you give away the gift of life, it comes back sevenfold. And this is what you call a zipper song. You just zip out one word, zip in a new word, you got an idea for a whole new verse. So instead of starting with one tree, let's start with one heart, because that's how loving grows. Start with one heart, you'll touch many. That's the way it goes. Start with one heart, you'll touch many. That's how loving grows. Start with one heart, you'll touch many all over the world. When you give away the gift of life, it comes back sevenfold. Let's start with one smile, because that's how laughter grows. Start with one smile, you'll see many. That's the way it goes. Start with one smile, you'll sing many. That's how laughter grows. Start with one smile, you'll see many all over the world. When you give away the gift of life, it comes back sevenfold. Start with one song. That's how music grows. Start with one song, you'll sing many. That's the way it goes. Start with one song, you'll sing many. That's how music grows. Start with one song, you'll sing many all over the world. When you give away the gift of life, it comes back sevenfold. Start with one tree. Start with one tree, you'll plant many. That's the way it goes. Start with one tree, you'll plant many. That's how forests grow. Start with one tree, you'll plant many all over the world. When you give away the gift of life, it comes back sevenfold. When you give away the gift of life, it comes back sevenfold. Thank you, friends. Okay, Margaret, your turn.
Okay, well, I have a story called Beast and Tree. The stories I'm telling are all from my book, Earth Care, World Folk Tales to Talk About. This is a story that I retold from a story by James Dillett Freeman, a minister. The beast was, the tree was old and beautiful. Who knows how long it stood, content in dark and proud in day. Who knows how long, until Beast came. The beast came snuffling, nose to ground. It almost rammed the tree before it looked. Then suddenly wild green, wild light, green scent, green sound of swish and sway. And now Beast knew what it loved most, green. Then smunch, a joyous mouthful, crunch, happily another, and round and crunch and smunch and munch and crunch, and home to smile and sleep and dream of green and leaf and tree. Next day, the beast is coming back to lean against the trunk, grown sweet, adoring songs, then smunch and crunch and round and munch and crunch and smunch and home to dream again. Next day, the beast is coming back. Crunch, munch, 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 and home it goes. Here comes the beast. Munch, crunch, and home again. Munch, crunch, each day. So happy are these days. Munch, crunch, munch, crunch, crunch. Ah, till coming one day. Ah, but now the beast can't find its tree. only an ugly stick that whispers, I need. Tree? A pang of dread. I took from tree. I never gave one thing. Now beast is rushing to the water hole. Bring mud, bring water, leaves to mulch the roots. No munching now, just graceful saving acts till day by day the tree begins to thrive, and leaf by leaf it grows again. Beast learned its lesson. You could learn it too. If you will take, you also must give back. I take, I give, I take, I give. Learn to act with beast's way. And that's the story of Beast and Tree. And there's a saying, if you kill a tree to feed your camel today, you deprive the herds of future herdsmen of their food forever. Well, I have two short stories from the book to finish off with. There are lots of really tiny little tales in here, and they all have morals, plus a lot of longer ones. And one of my favorites is from Iran, and it's told about the mullah. And I know you know the mullah, you know the hoja. It's in Turkey, it's the hoja. In Iran, it's the mullah. And he's usually a fool, but in this story, he's a wise man. He is, after all, a religious leader, so occasionally he acts in a wise fashion. The mullah was walking along the road one day, and he saw a gardener who was just cursing up a blue storm, just pulling weeds, just complaining. The mullah said, sir, what is your problem? Why are you fussing so much? Oh, weeds. I pull them, they grow back, weeds, nothing but always weeds. I hate the weeds. I hate these weeds. Well, I see you had a problem, said the mullah. I could solve it for you. Oh, what would I do? How could you solve it? I could solve it. It's very simple. Do you want to know the answer? Yes. How can I solve this problem with the weeds? I hate them so. Well, it's very simple, sir. Just one thing. You must learn to love the weeds. Well, I live in Huntington Park in Des Moines. We have 2 miles of greenbelt trails all around, and we let anything grow. That's nature. We don't pull up anything. It's a native spot. Anything that's native can come live there, and just they can duke it out among themselves. They can have a good time, and they can just come live as long as they want to live on our greenbelt. And I decided that my front garden should be treated the same way. So if anything wants to come and live in my front garden, I just welcome it in. So right now I have all these beautiful red tulips, and all around them are little dainty light blue forget-me-nots. My neighbors call them weeds, but I call them welcome guests. It's so beautiful with the tulips. And as the summer goes on, I'll have other people come, other little flowers come. And as long as they make a little flower and make me happy, I don't care if someone calls it a weed or not. I call it a beautiful golden dandelion. Well, our last story is from India, and it's called In Your Hands. There was a young man who thought he was very sassy. There was a wise man in the village, and everyone always respected him and obeyed him. But the young man thought, he thinks he's so smart. I can outwit him. So the young man caught a little bird, small bird, and put it in his hands. And he went to the wise man and he said, I have a riddle for you, but you can't tell me the answer to this, even though you think you're so wise. He had a plan. He had the bird in his hand, and he was going to ask him if it was alive. And if it was, if he said yes, he'd squeeze it and kill it, and it'd be dead. And if he said it was dead, he'd open it and he'd fly it away. He knew that he couldn't lose. He said, okay, wise gentleman, tell me this. Is this bird in my hand alive or is it dead? But the wise man was wise. He looked at the young man and shook his head, and he said, well, young man, I must tell you, the answer is in your hands. And so today, the answer of whether we're going to save the earth or not is in all of our hands. Tom, last story, last song.
Thank you, Margaret. Okay, well, I was going to sneak in 2 songs. Let's see. Did you get in This Pretty Planet there? Okay, ignore that for now. We're going to do a different one. Deep blue sea, baby, deep blue sea. Deep blue sea, baby, deep blue sea. Deep blue sea, baby, deep blue sea. Now there's peace throughout the land and o'er the deep blue sea. Golden sun brings a sparkling day. 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 Now there's peace throughout the land and o'er the deep blue sea. Yellow moon greets a starry night. 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 Now there's peace throughout the land and o'er the deep blue sea. Deep blue sea, baby, deep blue sea. Deep blue sea, baby, deep blue sea. Deep blue sea, baby, deep blue sea. Now there's peace throughout the land and o'er the deep blue sea. This pretty planet spinning through space. You're a garden, you're a harbor, you're a holy place. Golden sun coming down, gentle blue giants spin us around all through the night. Safe till the morning light. Let's do that one more time. This pretty planet spinning through space. You're a garden, you're a harbor, you're a holy place. Golden sun coming down, gentle blue giants spin us around all through the night. Safe till the morning light. Thank you, friends. Okay, Pat, back to you.
Oh, what a wonderful program. Tom and Margaret, what you gave us were beautiful images and a chance to come together to celebrate this wonderful place. And so I take away a promise to sing every day of my life and to hear and tell stories about this wonderful place we live on and to share them with as many as we can. Now, if you'd like to stay around for chatting a bit, maybe next year when we have an Earth Day concert, there will be cake and I'll bring it. Trust me, I'd be happy to do it. So thank you all and stay for the chat.